Hey, good morning reefers, welcome to the channel. My name is Lee, introducing myself once because I'm normally not on camera. This is my Red Sea G2 250. I always say at the beginning of the conversation, in case you're new to the channel and you want to know what tank this is. And also this video is going to be on my livestock, so what's actually in the tank. I do a lot of videos on the products, on the reviews, what I'm running and so forth. But today I wanted to show you what fish I have, what they're called, the reasons why, and some of the coral choices, so that you may want to get those or you've got a better understanding of what to put in your reef tank. I'm going to use the yellow clip-on lens. I've got these from Amazon. They got orange lenses and there's a couple more in there. Prevent us not seeing otherwise because it's so blue. So bear with me, let me do this now. Hiya there, thanks for holding on. So I'm just going to zoom out for a second. We'll go through some of the fish, we'll try and zoom in on them and we'll name them and then we'll come back to it. So I'm going to start with this one here. This one kind of hovering, they perch on rocks. It is a starry-eyed Lawnmower Blenny. Very unique colours, kind of glittery with the horns on top. They're not aggressive. They've got funny personalities. They're quite inquisitive. They're greedy eaters. They're not finicky or anything like that. He's just disappeared from me. And basically, they'll perch on rocks and they'll eat the algae off the rocks. That's why they're called the lawnmower, I believe. And they're quite very interesting characters. They swim midway in the tank usually, and they'll perch on a rock, a bit like a hawkfish. Generally these are reef safe classed as, and see if we can get the colors there. But yeah, I got one of these because I wanted something else to tackle some algae issues and wanted something that was halfway up or low down, a bit like the Dragonet family, similar to, trying to remember the name of them now, I've had them before, but these will pick off everything, so they're really cool, and they're quite fast swimmers, get quite big, probably about as big as he's going to get, very greedy but very cool. The next fish that I love is this wrasse. So I love the wrasse family fish. He's the radiant wrasse, kind of pink, orange faced, purple body with the white fins. Very shy, as you can see. They will eat pests in the tank. They are very fast swimmers. They will bury themselves in the sand for sleeping, and they can be quite shy. You can see he's not too sure. They will eat flake food. They'll eat brine and mice shrimp, live food, and they'll pick any pests that come into the tank. So great addition to a reef safe tank. The next one is this pink one. This is the fairy wrasse, I believe. Again, another wrasse, and they've done quite well together. They don't really argue as long as you're going to feed them or put them in at the same time. Should be completely fine. But I love the striking colours, kind of a pink with a white. I think they're a great addition, and again, actively feeding and on anything from flake food, pellet food, and mice and brine shrimp, live food as well, and pests in the tank. So there we go. We've got the clownfish here. This one at the front and one at the back. The bigger one is the female, and the one behind is the male, the smaller one. And obviously, I think they change sex. Depending on the dominant one and the size. Usually it's the bigger one that becomes the female. And these are the clownfish from the Snowflake. That's what they told me from the shop. Beautiful colours, white with the black tail and the orange face. Very cool. And the boy there as well, she obviously dominates him. But yeah, I love these. These were my first fish in my old tank, and they've been with me ever since. They're not finicky eaters either. They always know where the food's coming in, and yeah, they're just very cool. They haven't hosted anything in this tank, and unfortunately I don't want to get a anemone because it could move around and sting things. The last fish here is the green and blue chromis. Very cheap. There's 2 in here. I did have 3 at one point of 4, but they died off, and I think it's just best to try and get a pair, or get 3 or 4 and see who survives. Usually they get bullied or they die. In my case, one actually went down the overflow. He was so small, so I would get a medium-sized one. Don't get too small because they can go down the overflow. They're very finicky, as in they're very scared. A lot of the times, if you get a school of them and you put them in, then some will survive, as I said, and some won't. They'll swim back and forth, but they're cheap fish and they're very hardy. And I just love them. I love the colour of them. And yeah, it's just something else to pack out the tank. So we got 7 fish in here, and that really was my max capacity. Plus, every time you introduce new fish, technically you should be quarantining those fish in a separate tank. But obviously a lot of hobbyists don't do this, and myself included. And it's a gamble because you could bring a fish with a disease in here, and then everybody is at risk. So I try not to add any more fish. If one dies, I'll see how things go and maybe add another one. But generally what I'll do is I'll get a reef safe fish, and then I'll do my research on that fish, and then I'll try and buy from a selected vendor, someone like TMC in the UK, get that ordered through a local fish store, then pick them up. And sometimes I might even leave them at the store for like 3 weeks to see how they do. So once they've transitioned over, for that period that they've survived, and they've not just gone from one bag to another then to mine, I think it's more stressful. So that's my key take on my fish. On the kind of crabs, hermits and things like that, I did have a Halloween hermit. I think he died in the last tank, unfortunately. They are great little pickers at the tank. What I'm currently using for algae management is these turbo snails, and they do really well. They will eat the algae. You need to, sometimes if they flip over and they can't get back, you have to flip them over. So you could use like a pipette or a grabbing tool. There is a bunch of sand sifting Nasarius snails and bumblebee snails in the tank. There is a bumblebee there. They're little snails that move around at night time usually. And we also have a sea urchin, which is a tuxedo. I'm just trying to find him. He's hiding at the moment. He usually comes out at night time. He may just perch himself somewhere, and they will go to town on the kind of rock work and the back of the glass to make sure that the kind of situation of the algae is under control. There's another snail down there. There's about 3 or 4 snails in here, a bunch under the sand of the Nasarius snails that move around and filter out that sand bed for you. My thoughts on starfish: usually they don't do well in these systems, and I've learnt the hard way, and I just won't do that to the animal anymore. So my advice is not to buy them. I think they should just be left in the wild. I think your best bet is, if you're having algae issues, is get the tuxedo urchins. Mine's a little purple and blue one, I believe he is. I'm still trying to, there he is. Okay, I found him. So if I just zoom in here, you can see him just about, there he is with all the little spiky bits. Generally, you want to acclimate these for at least an hour slowly. And once you're done, take them out of that water, but gently. Don't use a net or anything. You use like a glove maybe. They won't sting you or anything. And then just basically put them in another container and then pour that container into the water, because they shouldn't really be exposed to air when they're being transitioned over. So that's a tuxedo urchin, and they again are really easy to keep. I think they'll last about 3 to 5 years in these reef systems. Okay, so let's talk about the coral choices here, so you're aware of what's going on. So if you can find a deal and you're into alvaporas and gonoporas, I'll give you my 2 cents on them. Alvaporas are much easier and they'll grow much bigger, and they come in a variety of colors. This one here was 2 stone heads that had grown, and it's stone into 4 now, probably more under there now growing, and it's absolutely massive, and it's one of my favourite pieces and cheapest pieces. I bought this for like £45 from a local online store, should I say. And it's just doing amazing. I absolutely love it. Don't need to feed it anything, just leave it perched up because it's so big, and let it sway away. They do really well. They don't need loads of light or flow. Now, another one here is, just make sure I've got this correct so I know what I'm talking about here. These are Goniporas, a little bit more difficult, and they come in really cool colors, more variations. They need a bit more flow, I believe. That's my take on it, and I do like to feed them. They do better with more dirtier water. Got another one here that's bouncing back. I think this was an Inferno, nearly passed, but thank God it's come out. The skin there is being pulled a little bit, so I might have to move it or turn the flow down. I generally don't like to move Gonnies. They're very finicky once they get moved. This was an Iron Man piece, again breaking back, coming back. Hopefully if I leave it alone, it should grow. Similar to this one here, you can see the colors. These are called short Gonnies, golf ball size, and I think they're under the Bernapora family, and they do throw the tentacles out sometimes. Obviously when the polyps are out, it means it's doing well, and it's just trying to bounce back on this side. I don't know if there's too much flow, so it seems like it is because the rest of it is doing well. I think the flow is coming through from the middle and to the side, so it might be bashing it there, so I might have to turn the flow down just a tad. I think this one's an Alvapora. This one's definitely an Alvapora. It's kind of a yellow greeny, used to be more of a goldy color. It's slightly changed over since moving to this tank, but again it's doing really well. It's reaching for the light, so hopefully that's a good sign. This one is, I can't remember the name of it, but it is a Gonipora, and we got an Alvapora here, long tentacle. Absolutely love this one. Again, was very inexpensive, so that's a really cool piece. I think we've got a couple more at the back here. Alvapora here, beautiful colors, just real easy to keep growing like crazy. This one is a glitter Goni. Had to move it here, wasn't doing so well for a while. Now it's bounced back, and now I'm leaving it alone. Hopefully it will grow into a big piece. It's getting enough light and enough sway, so that's fine. Going over to the other side, so I've kept them separately on this kind of bonsai tree. Starting at the top from my old display, we've got this staghorn that's growing. It's beautiful colors, really easy to keep. You can see it's grown onto the rock here. This was really inexpensive. I bought it as a frag, and now it's grown 3 times the amount. We've got the encrusting, I think it's called the beach bum, if I'm not mistaken. Pretty similar to Kung Pao and so forth, but beautiful. It's grown such a beautiful piece, and maybe if it gets too big I'll have to break a piece off and sell it, but absolutely love that piece. This is an acro of some kind. Seems to be doing well. It's growing more and more heads. We've got another encrusting bright green piece here. It's got some damage on the top where some algae has attacked it, but it seems to be growing, and it's grown a few heads since come into here, so I'm just going to leave it alone. Got another encrusting one here, can't remember the name, but it's very similar to the beach bum one, but it's more of a green and purple variant. It's bounced back again. You can see those beautiful polyps out, so it's a good sign. It is growing, and absolutely love these. They're so easy. There's one of the snails going to work, as I said, cleaning that rock work. Going down, let me just go down to the middle first. We've got encrusting, branching, Sophastria. Can't remember which one it is, but obviously it's the pink with the green. It's more on camera purple and pink. This one passed away. I think it was very similar to this one here. This is a jack-o'-lantern, and I think it was the same species, but it was a different color. And then down, as we come down, we've got the chalice garden. So got a few chalices here. This one broke when I was putting it on the rock. This one's holding in. I'm hoping it's gonna grow. Looks like it is. This one's growing really big. I think this is the watermelon one. I love chalices now.
This one's not doing so well. Looks like it's pulling back from the skeleton, so I might have to turn the flow down. This one's growing big as well from what it was. And let me see, I've got this one here. It seems to be receding a little bit, but I'm hoping it's doing well. This one seems to be bouncing back now. This would completely perish, but on the side you can see the colors bouncing back. We've got a master gonny that nearly passed away. It's starting to come back, so someone said just leave it in a lower light position. We've got another encrusting, obviously chalice, and then we've got these Silvestria standard ones. Absolutely love these colors, and they are growing. Hopefully it's going to spread onto the rest of this plug. Might put some more plugs around it. We've got a skittle bomb, this is what it's called, and it is a Silvestria again. At the back is one I bought off a whim. I don't know why I bought it, but it was a soft coral. You can see the colors on the edges. It's more of a fleshy kind of undertop cabbage, but it's doing well, and I'm really happy with these choices. I've tried my hand in elegance corals. They did really well. I had 2 massive pieces that grown. I sold them, and in the past I've had some trying to remember the code, toadstools, but they grow massive, and so I've kept it as a gonny garden and an encrusting side, and I might have a few that sway over, but I don't want too much coral warfare going on. And this is my kind of choice for my reef tank at the moment. I have a shipment coming in on Tuesday, and I'll try and do an update and an unboxing on there. But if you're liking these videos, as I always say, please give it a thumbs up and like and subscribe to the channel. Thank you.